Welcome to this quiet bedtime journey. Tonight we're exploring the gentle history of the slipper, a familiar companion at the edges of the day. Before we begin, a quick reminder. Please don't listen while driving or doing anything that needs your full attention. This is a moment for slowing down, settling in, and letting the world soften around you. When you're ready, let's drift into the story. The slipper is one of those quiet objects that rarely asks for attention, yet it has been part of human comfort for centuries. Soft, warm, and always waiting by the bedside or the doorway, it carries a sense of home in its very shape. Its story begins long before modern fabrics, long before cozy linings and cushioned soles, in the earliest human attempts to soften the world beneath their feet. Imagine the feeling of easing your foot into something gentle. The fabric yields, the sole muffles each step, and the world seems to hush. That simple moment has a long lineage, stretching back through ancient households, cold floors, and the timeless desire to make life a little kinder. As you settle deeper, picture early homes, stone floors, packed earth, woven mats, hard surfaces that held the day's chill long after sunset. People sought ways to protect their feet indoors, not with shoes meant for travel, but with coverings meant purely for comfort. The slipper's earliest ancestors were simple, but they carried the same intention we recognize today: warmth, softness, and ease. Let your breathing slow as we step gently into those early beginnings, where the slipper's story first takes shape. Long before the word slipper existed, ancient cultures created soft indoor footwear to protect against cold floors and dust. These early coverings weren't fashion items. They were practical solutions to everyday discomfort. In ancient Egypt, people wore woven reed sandals indoors, light, flexible, and designed to keep feet clean in homes where sand drifted in through open doorways. These weren't slippers as we know them, but they carried the same spirit, a gentle barrier between the foot and the ground. Across the Mediterranean, Greeks and Romans used soft leather house shoes. Imagine a simple piece of leather folded around the foot, stitched lightly, and worn only inside. These early indoor shoes were supple and quiet, offering a small comfort in homes built of stone and marble. In colder climates, early indoor footwear took on a different form. Northern European households used felted wool coverings, thick, warm, and shaped loosely around the foot. Felt was a remarkable material, dense, insulating, and soft. A felted slipper could keep feet warm even in homes where winter crept through every gap in the walls. These early designs shared a common purpose: to soften the world indoors. They weren't meant for travel or work. They were meant for rest, for warmth, for the quiet hours at home. As you breathe gently, imagine those ancient evenings. Fires glowing, shadows stretching across floors, and soft coverings waiting by the bedside. The slipper's story was already unfolding, quietly and steadily. As we drift into the medieval period, homes become colder, darker, and more rugged. Floors were often stone or packed earth, and drafts slipped through every crack. Comfort was precious, and indoor footwear became a small luxury. Medieval slippers were simple, soft leather, stitched by hand, sometimes lined with fur. They were worn by those who could afford them: merchants, scholars, and members of noble households. For many, going barefoot indoors was the norm, but those who owned slippers treasured them. Imagine a medieval chamber, tapestries on the walls, a small fire in the hearth, and a pair of soft leather slippers resting near the bed. Their shape was simple, almost like a pouch for the foot. They offered warmth, protection, and a sense of gentleness in a world that was often harsh. In monasteries, monks wore quiet indoor shoes made of felt or cloth. These slippers softened their steps as they moved through stone corridors, preserving the silence that defined monastic life. The slipper became part of a ritual of calm, a way to move gently through sacred spaces. By the late medieval period, indoor footwear had become more common. Tailors and cobblers crafted slippers in various shapes, some with pointed toes, some rounded, some decorated with simple stitching. They were still modest objects, but they carried a growing sense of comfort and care. Let your thoughts settle as we move forward into a time when slippers began to take on new shapes and meanings. The Renaissance brought a blossoming of art, culture, and craftsmanship, and slippers evolved alongside these changes. Homes became more refined, and indoor footwear followed suit. Slippers of this era were often made from fine fabrics, velvet, brocade, embroidered cloth. They were lined with soft materials and shaped more elegantly, reflecting the tastes of the time. These slippers weren't just practical, they were expressions of status and comfort. Imagine a Renaissance study. Wooden floors polished smooth, sunlight filtering through tall windows, and a pair of velvet slippers resting beside a writing desk. Their colours were rich, deep reds, greens, or golds, and their stitching delicate. They were worn during moments of reading, reflection, and quiet conversation. In many households, slippers became part of evening rituals. People changed from outdoor shoes into soft indoor footwear as a sign that the day's work was done. This shift, from public life to private comfort, gave slippers a new symbolic role. As craftsmanship flourished, slippers became more varied. Some were open-backed, easy to slip on. Others enclosed the foot fully, offering warmth during colder months. Decorative elements appeared: embroidery, tassels, patterned fabrics. The slipper was becoming not just a comfort object, but a personal one. And with that gentle transformation, the slipper stepped quietly toward the modern age. As we drift into the 18th century, the slipper begins to settle into a clearer identity. Homes are changing. Fireplaces become more efficient, fabrics more varied, and indoor life more comfortable. With these shifts, slippers evolve from simple protective coverings into objects of domestic ease. Imagine an 18th century parlour. Wooden floors polished smooth, rugs woven with intricate patterns, and a gentle fire glowing in the hearth. In such spaces, slippers were often made from soft leather or quilted fabrics, shaped to fit the foot more closely than earlier designs. They were worn during quiet evenings, moments of reading, needlework, or conversation. For many households, slippers became part of a daily ritual. Outdoor shoes were removed at the door, replaced with soft indoor footwear that signaled a transition from public life to private comfort. This shift, from the structured world outside to the gentler world within, gave slippers a new emotional resonance. In wealthier homes, slippers were crafted with decorative elements, embroidered flowers, silk linings, or delicate stitching. These weren't extravagant objects, but they carried a sense of refinement. They were gifts exchanged between family members, tokens of care, and symbols of hospitality. Men's slippers of the era often featured sturdy soles and simple designs, suitable for walking across cool floors. Women's slippers tended to be lighter, sometimes made from brocade or velvet, shaped to complement the fashions of the time. Both shared the same purpose: to soften each step, to bring warmth, and to offer a small comfort at the end of the day. As you breathe gently, imagine the quiet rustle of fabric, the soft glow of candlelight, and the feeling of slipping into something warm after a long day. The slipper was becoming more than a practical object. It was becoming part of the rhythm of home. And with that gentle shift, its story moved steadily toward the modern age. The Victorian era brought a flourishing of domestic life. Homes were filled with textiles, patterns, and decorative objects, and slippers became an essential part of this cozy world. They were no longer just practical, they were expressions of personality, craft, and care. Victorian slippers were often handmade. Women embroidered them with intricate designs, flowers, initials, geometric patterns, turning each pair into a small work of art. These slippers were given as gifts, especially during holidays, symbolizing affection and thoughtfulness. To receive a pair was to receive warmth, comfort, and a touch of beauty. Imagine a Victorian sitting room, heavy drapes, patterned carpets, and a pair of embroidered slippers resting near a chaise longue. Their colours might be deep burgundy, forest green, or navy blue. Their soles were often made of leather, while the uppers were crafted from velvet or tapestry fabric. They were soft, warm, and designed for quiet evenings by the fire. Slippers also became part of Victorian etiquette. Guests were sometimes offered indoor footwear to keep floors clean and to create a sense of shared comfort. In colder months, families kept multiple pairs near the hearth, warming them before slipping them on. Children wore small slippers made from felt or wool, often decorated with simple stitching. Elderly relatives treasured their slippers for the warmth they provided during long winter nights. The slipper became a universal comfort object, one that crossed generations and social classes. As industrialization advanced, slippers began to be mass-produced. Factories created affordable versions that could be purchased in shops, making them accessible to more households. Yet handmade slippers remained cherished, carrying the quiet intimacy of something crafted with care. Let your thoughts soften as you picture those Victorian evenings, the crackle of the fire, the hush of conversation, and the gentle comfort of warm slippers waiting nearby. The slipper's story was deepening, becoming woven into the fabric of everyday life. The 20th century brought rapid change, new technologies, new fashions, and new ways of living. Through it all, the slipper remained a constant companion, adapting quietly to the needs of each generation. In the early decades, slippers were simple and sturdy. Many were made from felt or wool, shaped to keep feet warm in homes that were still heated by fireplaces or stoves. They were practical, affordable, and widely used. As central heating became more common, slippers shifted from necessity to comfort. Designs became lighter, softer, and more varied. The classic mule slipper, open at the back, easy to slip on, became popular in many households. So did fully enclosed slippers with cushioned soles, perfect for padding through hallways on chilly mornings. Imagine a mid-century living room, patterned wallpaper, a radio humming softly, and a pair of slippers resting beside an armchair. They might be made from corduroy, wool, or quilted fabric. Their colours were often muted, browns, greys, soft blues, reflecting the calm of home life. By the 1960s and 70s, slippers became playful. Bright colours, novelty designs, and plush materials appeared, especially for children. Some slippers were shaped like animals, others like cartoon characters, adding a touch of fun to bedtime routines. In colder regions, sheepskin slippers grew in popularity. Their warmth was unmatched, and their soft linings made them perfect for winter evenings. Many families kept pairs near the fireplace, warming them before slipping them on. Throughout the century, slippers remained symbols of ease. They were worn during quiet mornings, restful afternoons, and peaceful evenings. They marked the boundary between the busy world outside and the gentle world within. As you breathe slowly, imagine the soft shuffle of slippers across a familiar floor, a sound that has echoed through countless homes, carrying comfort with every step. As we move into the late 20th and early 21st centuries, slippers begin to embrace new materials and new ideas. Comfort becomes more personalized, and designs become more varied than ever before. Foam cushioning transforms the feel of slippers. Memory foam in particular creates a soft, supportive base that molds gently to the foot. Slippers become not just warm, but deeply comfortable, a small luxury at the end of the day. Synthetic fabrics offer new possibilities. Microfleece, faux fur, and plush textiles create slippers that feel like clouds around the feet. These materials are lightweight, washable, and available in countless colours and patterns. Imagine a modern bedroom, soft lighting, a neatly made bed, and a pair of plush slippers waiting nearby. Their texture is gentle, their warmth immediate. They invite you to slow down, to rest, to let the day soften. Outdoor-inspired designs also appear. Some slippers have rubber soles, allowing people to step outside briefly, to fetch the post, water plants, or enjoy a moment of fresh air. These hybrid slippers blend indoor comfort with outdoor practicality. Eco-friendly materials begin to emerge too. Wool felt, recycled fibres, and sustainably sourced fabrics offer warmth with a lighter environmental footprint. Many people choose slippers not just for comfort, but for the values they represent. Slippers become part of wellness routines. They're worn during meditation, quiet mornings, and gentle evenings. They soothe tired feet, ease tension, and create a sense of calm. As you settle deeper, imagine the feeling of slipping into a pair of modern slippers, soft, warm, and perfectly shaped to your step. Their story has travelled centuries, yet their purpose remains unchanged: to bring comfort in the gentlest possible way. As we drift into the global story of slippers, we find that every culture has shaped this gentle object in its own way. Though the purpose remains universal, warmth, softness, ease, The designs reflect the traditions, climates, and materials of each region. In Japan, the slipper is part of a deeply rooted ritual of cleanliness and respect. Outdoor shoes are removed at the door, replaced with uwabaki, soft indoor slippers worn in homes, schools, and even some workplaces. Their light soles and simple shapes create a quiet, unobtrusive step. In traditional inns, guests are offered slippers as a gesture of welcome, a small sign that they are entering a space of calm. In Turkey and parts of the Middle East, embroidered house shoes have been used for centuries. Made from leather or woven fabrics, they often feature intricate patterns and bright colours. These slippers are shaped to slip on easily, their backs open, their toes gently curved. They carry artistry in every stitch, turning comfort into something beautiful. Northern climates favour warmth. In Scandinavia, felted wool slippers are common, thick, insulating, and shaped simply. They hold heat well, making them perfect for long winters. In Russia, soft Valenki-style slippers echo the traditional felt boots worn outdoors, bringing that same warmth into the home. In India, soft jutis and majaris are worn indoors during festivals and family gatherings. Their pointed toes and embroidered designs make them elegant, yet their soft soles keep them comfortable. They blur the line between slipper and ceremonial footwear, showing how indoor shoes can carry cultural meaning. Across Africa, slippers vary widely. In some regions, woven palm or grass slippers are used indoors, lightweight and breathable. In others, soft leather house shoes are crafted by hand, shaped to fit the foot naturally. Each culture has its own way of softening the step, its own interpretation of comfort. Yet the intention remains the same, to create a gentle boundary between the foot and the floor, a small kindness woven into daily life. As you breathe slowly, imagine these slippers from around the world, different shapes, different colours, different stories, all connected by the same quiet purpose. Slippers have wandered quietly into stories, films, and memories, becoming symbols of home, rest, and sometimes whimsy. Their presence is subtle, yet unmistakable. Think of the iconic ruby slippers from The Wizard of Oz. Though not slippers in the traditional sense, they carry the symbolism of home, the idea that comfort and belonging are never far away. Their sparkle, their magic, their gentle tap of heels, all echo the slipper's deeper meaning, a return to safety. In countless children's stories, slippers appear as bedtime companions. Soft animal-shaped slippers, fluffy designs, or tiny felt pairs become part of nighttime rituals. They mark the transition from play to rest, from the bright world of daytime to the quiet world of dreams. In classic films, characters often wear slippers during moments of vulnerability or reflection. A writer pacing a study in soft house shoes, a grandparent shuffling through a kitchen at dawn, a child padding down a hallway during a stormy night. Slippers signal intimacy, a glimpse into private life. Even in comedy, slippers have played their part. Oversized novelty slippers, mismatched pairs, or slippers worn outdoors by accident become gentle sources of humour. They remind us that comfort sometimes comes with a touch of silliness. In modern culture, slippers appear in cosy lifestyle imagery, warm lighting, soft blankets, quiet evenings. They represent rest, self-care, and the simple pleasure of being at home. As you settle deeper, imagine all these moments, fictional, real, remembered, where slippers appear not as grand objects, but as quiet symbols of ease. Their presence is small, yet it carries warmth. Slippers do more than warm the feet. They shape how we feel, how we move, and how we transition from the outer world to the inner one. When you slip into a pair of soft slippers, your body recognizes the shift. Muscles loosen, shoulders drop. The mind begins to slow. It's a signal, a gentle cue that you're entering a space of rest. Psychologists often speak of boundary rituals, small actions that help us move between states of mind. Slippers are one of these rituals. They mark the end of work, the beginning of evening, the moment when the world becomes quieter. Their softness affects posture and movement. Steps become slower, quieter, more deliberate. The body responds to the gentle cushioning, easing into a calmer rhythm. Slippers also evoke memory. Many people associate them with childhood, with grandparents, with winter mornings, with moments of care. These associations create emotional warmth, a sense of safety that goes beyond physical comfort. In times of stress, small comforts matter. A warm drink, a soft blanket, a familiar pair of slippers. These objects anchor us, reminding us that rest is allowed, that gentleness still exists. As you breathe softly, imagine the feeling of slipping into your favourite pair, the warmth rising, the floor softening beneath you, the day easing away. Comfort is simple, but its effects are profound. As we reach the final chapter of this quiet journey, we find the slipper still evolving, yet unchanged at its core. It remains a companion of warmth, softness, and ease, a small object that carries centuries of gentle purpose. Modern slippers come in endless forms: plush, woven, felted, cushioned, minimalist, eco-friendly. Some are designed for wellness, supporting tired arches or soothing sore feet. Others focus on softness, wrapping the foot in gentle fabrics. Some blend indoor and outdoor use, allowing brief steps into the garden or onto the porch. Technology has even touched the slipper. Heated soles, memory foam layers, and ergonomic shaping offer new kinds of comfort. Yet the essence remains the same: a soft step, a warm moment, a sense of home. Slippers continue to be part of daily rituals. They wait by bedsides, near sofas, beside doors. They accompany early mornings, quiet afternoons, and restful evenings. They soften winter nights and calm busy minds. And as you settle now, imagine a pair resting nearby, warm, familiar, ready to ease your step whenever you need them. Their story stretches back through ancient homes, medieval chambers, Victorian parlours, and modern bedrooms. A simple object, yet one that has carried comfort through countless generations. Let that warmth linger as you drift toward rest, letting the story settle gently around you. Thank you so much for sharing this quiet moment with me. If you'd like more bedtime stories like this, then please subscribe now. And if there's a topic you'd love to hear as you drift off, Let me know in the comments. Sleep well and be safe.